Welcome to the class of Social Science for class 6 Civics, chapter 3, and the name of the chapter is What is Government? I repeat, what is government? A government. A government is a group of people that have the power to rule in a territory according to the administrative law. This territory may be a country, a state or province within a country or a region. Governments make laws, rules and regulations, collect taxes and print money. Now understand students, what do you mean by a government? A government are the group of people who make rules and regulations for us, who rule our country, okay? Government is not only ruling the country, but they can be the government who is ruling a proper small province also, a small part of a city also, a state also. That is a government, okay? Who used to make laws, who used to make rules and regulations, who used to check out whether the public are happy or not, satisfied or not, okay? These are all people, the people who take care of all these things are known as the government. Now the question comes, why do we need a government? We need a government because to keep people safe, to provide services, to look out for a common good. It means a good atmosphere, to protect individual rights. Yes, every individual is having their own rights and duties. So to check that and to protect that every person should enjoy their rights, to help solve problems, okay? There should be no fighting between each another, and to make and enforce law, okay? This also, yes, the most important thing, why do we need a government? The point is to make laws and to enforce the people to follow it, okay? If the people are not following those things, obviously they will be liable to punishment. Now, why do we need a government? The first point that we came, to keep the people safe from outer attacks, okay? And second thing, to provide services. There are so many things manufactured in our country and outside our country also, okay? Every place. So, to provide those services to every individual in a proper amount that is being required by the or fulfilled by the government only. To look out that every person should enjoy their rights and should have peace and harmony, okay? To solve problems, if two parties are having any problem, any conflicts, obviously that can also be solved by the government only. If any problem is arising between two religions, Hindu or Muslim or any other religion, obviously that problem can be solved by the government itself. Now the next and most important one is to make and enforce law. Yes, to maintain the peace and harmony and to evaluate all these things, what the government do? They make laws for us, okay? The rules and regulations. If the people are following those rules and regulations, obviously they will be happy and enjoy their life. But if they are breaking the rules and regulations, then of course they will be liable to punishment. Now here I give you 5 reasons, basic 5 reasons why do we need a government. Number 1, to define the rights and duties of individuals. Number 2, to compel people to perform their duties. Compel means to ask people, to motivate people that yes, you should perform your duties. See, if any person is not paying tax, you know that paying tax is very important for the development of the country. So if the people who are not paying tax, what we can do? We can motivate them, we can explain them. Yes, we have to pay taxes. And why we have to pay taxes? Because the amount that we are paying in tax is only useful for us at a emergency time. To protect life and property, to carry on activities performed by public officials, okay, and to exercise police powers. Police power means the police who takes are responsible for maintaining peace and harmony within the country. Okay, so these are basically 5 reasons that we can say in a very short form that why do we need a government. Now look, in India, usually what's happening? The government is usually working in 3 levels, okay? One is at national level, second for the state level, and third is on the district level. Or we can say the local level. Now these 3 levels, why it is being divided? Because, see, the Prime Minister cannot take care of every individual citizen of this country. Because there are 29 states, and in the 29 states, several people are living there. Okay, we are having in crores and millions, we are having the population. So one individual person cannot take care of us. So what is done? Prime Minister and his team is taking the care of the national level, and coming to the state level, okay, the state ministers or the state government are taking care of their own state people. Okay, now every state are having too many districts. Okay, so for that districts, what has been done? The district government, the district people, the authority people, they are taking care of their own district. Okay, now coming to the village level also, obviously the village level people, again a type of a government, a part is being done where those people are taking care of the village people. Now see what's written over here. In India, the government works at 3 levels. At national level, there is a central formulating policies and laws for the nation as a whole. Okay. Then coming to the state level, there are state governments that look after the governance of their respective states and relation between center and that state and with other states. Okay, then coming to the third level, the low level constitutes the governance in the municipalities and the panchayats in the district level function. Now see, just take an example. This is the whole school of Kana Kingdom. Okay, now this whole school is being divided into, you all are being divided into classes. Okay, now the classes are again can be divided into the standards or the sections. Okay, like for example class 6A, 6B, 6A. Now see, this whole school is a country, okay, where the management is taking the decision. Fine. Now the principals are taking the decision. Now coming to the state level. State level now you can define as the classes. Okay, now every individual class, class 6, class 5, class 8, class 7. Now these are the states over here. Clear? These states are being controlled by their respective class teachers. Now we are talking about section class 6A, 6B or 6A like this. Then obviously they are being again divided into districts. Now these districts are being taken care of the individual class teachers of different sections. Okay, so these are all merged together and they all form a government. Okay, so these 3 types of government, that is central government, state government and the local government. Now local government can be related to the district also, and it can be related to the villages also, because you all know that many of the population of India, they are residing in villages. Okay, so India, the government usually performs in 3 levels. The national level, which is regarded as 1. Okay, now state level, and then coming to the third level, that is the local level, which is municipality operations or the panchayats at the district level. Now let us understand the levels of the government in brief. There are different levels of government. Okay, number 1, central level or the national level. This is the topmost level of the government. The central government looks after the topics of national interest. The Prime Minister is the head of the central government. The central government operates from the national capital, New Delhi. Then comes to the state level. Different states have their own level of government. Okay, it depends on the parties, whichever way. If in Rajasthan, Congress, BJP is working, then in Uttar Pradesh, Congress party is working. So it depends on the government. Okay, the state government is headed by the chief minister. of that state. The state government looks after the state subjects. Yes, the state government looks after the state subjects where the problems, they are not concerned. See, Rajasthan government is not concerned with the Uttar Pradesh government, what the people they are doing over there. They are only concerned with the people of their own state. So here, whatever the topics, whatever the issues, whatever the things or the problems are occurred in their own state, the state government solve only those problems. District level, at the district level, the government is in the hands of the government officials, okay, who are known as civil servants. Yes, the IAS and the IPS officers. The government officials look after the implementations of the various programs. In the district level, usually these people, the district magistrate, used to take care of the people of their district level. Now, coming to the village level. At the village level, the government is headed by the Sarpanch. You all know in the village we all have Sarpanch, okay, and he used to take care and has a meeting known as the Gram Panchayat, and some other parts we also have Gram Sabha, okay. The government at the village level is called Gram Panchayat. It looks after the topics of the local interest related to the villages. Now, while the central government is called the national government, all other levels are called local levels, okay, of the government. See, national level government is only one, that is said to be the central government or the national government, okay, but the rest other levels, the rest other categories of the government, they are coming to the lower level of the government, or we can say the local level of the government. State government is also coming with the local level. District government also is coming for the local level, and the village government is also coming to the local level. So how many types of the government that we came to know? See, there is a small flow chart given to you. Union government, that is said to be the national government or the central government. Then coming to the state government, and then the local government. Now over here, the local government is divided into two parts. One is the municipality, another one is the panchayat. Now, municipality means they are taking care of the districts, okay. They are concerned with the district. They are not concerned with the state. They are concerned with their own district. Over there, the municipal corporation, municipal council, Nagar Panchayat, they all work for the municipality, okay. Now, Panchayat over here, they are district panchayat, intermediate, and the village panchayat. These are the three categories which have been divided into panchayat system. Now, this is a small flow chart which shows you and makes you clear that how many types or the levels of the government we have in India, and that is why it is said that India is a secular state. Okay, there are lots of various people living here, and it's not possible only for a prime minister or a president individually to take care of all these people. So for taking care or governing all these people, the government is being divided and is being evaluated in such forms by which each and individual citizen of the country can get and can motivate itself and then fulfill its duties also and enjoy their rights freely. Now, here again I am showing you a small flow chart which is mentioning you the departments that is being controlled by every sort of government. Government of India, it means the national government used to function for the defense, foreign policies, security, industry, finance, trade. Now, it's finance and sometimes the people used to call it finance, okay? Trade, natural resources, and then comes to the state government. Now, states placed what the people used to do of the state government. They take care of the law and order, police, healthcare, transport, and land policies, etc. Now, coming to the urban local bodies, they are related to the urban planning, water supply, public health, fire services, etc. So these are some examples of special, I can say some departments which has been taken care by individual types of government. For the national level, they are very different from the state, and the state government is very different from the urban level. Okay, now here we can say that health policies, public health and land policies, police, transport, usually they have been divided as per the requirement of the people. Now, after analyzing and reading all the previous slides, what the analysis we can go for the national level and every type of level of government, central government or national level. This is the topmost level of the government, number one. State level, different states have their own level of government, which is known as state government. Okay. Now coming to the district level. At the district level, the governance is in the hands of the government officials. Okay. District level, the government is in the hand of the government officials, where are known as civil servants. They are known as civil servants. Now all the IAS and the IPS officers, okay, the district magistrate, they all are coming as a civil servants. Clear? So I hope all the levels of the government is totally been clear to you all. Now here I am showing you some maps. Okay, in some maps. First map, this is of the state level. See, every state is colored with different, every state is being highlighted with different colors, and every state is having their own capital. So, as these all are being continued or governed by the state level of the government. Okay, the state level take care of their own states. Now see in the second map. In the second map, it is being shown that over there the states are there, but within the states there are also some areas. Okay, these all areas are known as the districts. So these are the districts, and which all comes to the district level, where they are being taken care by the district government. Okay, that is said to be the civil servants. Okay, as I told you all that the district level government is in the hands of the government or the civil servants. Okay, where they used to take care of the public. So this is a map which is showing you for the district level. Now let us understand the meaning of law. For a community or society to work, it needs to have a level of structure that supplies to everyone and is understood by everyone. Law creates that structure and regulates the way in which people, organization and the government behave. Now see, in the school, if we are not having any rules and regulations, any law, do you think that are you able to learn and get education properly? No, not at all. Class 1 teacher who is able to teach only the students of class 1 or 2 has been told to go and teach in the class 9th and 8th standard. Will she or he will be able to teach? No, not at all. Now, in the class, if the students are creating chorus, they are shouting, okay, they are fighting with each other, and the teacher is being told to teach, do the teacher will be able to teach over there? No, not at all. So, laws, rules and regulations are very important in every aspect. Not only to the education sector, but at home also it is very important. See, whatever the timings are fixed, the rules are fixed that in the home we will follow these things, and some steps that we have to brush our teeth. This is also type of a law and a rule that is made. Okay, we should bath daily. That is also a law, a rule. Why we have made it? Because to make us healthy. Okay, we should be keep clean and tidy one, by which we should not be caught by the illness. Okay, so for all these things, such things, the law is very important. A law is a rule that comes from a legitimate authority and applies to everyone. Okay, the laws usually are created to make sure that everyone understand what is expected of them as a member of society. Okay, and what they can expect of others, including the government. Okay, so laws is not only giving you the authority to enjoy for any other criteria, okay, just to follow, okay, this is the restriction, this we have to follow. No, not for that, but also to enjoy your life. See, if we will follow the rules of hygiene, obviously we will be healthy, and if we will healthy, we will enjoy the life more freely. Okay, we will not be sick, we will not be weak, we will be full of energy and fitness. So the law is same like that for everyone. Okay, especially in the society. If we will follow law, obviously we will enjoy our life more freely and effectively. Now, understand with the laws and the government how they are interrelated to each other. Government can only function by implementing and enforcing certain laws. Now, here I am showing you one example. The government has made laws regarding the maintenance of smooth traffic. These laws help all the road users to use the road without getting disturbed by other road users. Okay, see. If you should walk on a pedestrian, okay, you should not cross the road when the vehicles are going on. You should always cross the road on the zebra crossing when the red lights are there. Okay, the vehicles are being told to stop when the red traffic lights are showing you the red light. You should always cross the road safely by looking the right side and left side and then again the right side. Okay, these are some laws which they had made. Now, if someone feels that the law of the land is not being obeyed in a particular situation, he can go to the court, okay, and ask for the judgment. Now, what the court is going to do? Court is going to hear the case, okay, and announce decisions as per the law of the land, okay, and after that, what it can be also done? The decision of the court, the government officials, they used to ensure that the law or the decision, whatever is being taken by the government, whatever the decision is taken by the court should be implied effectively by the to the people, okay, on the people, and the people should obey all these things. So such how the laws and the government, they both are interrelated to each other. Now, usually the people have a question in their mind. Why do you think that the government needs to make rules for everyone in form of laws? Why? Why the government make rules in form of laws? See, the laws are made by the government and every citizen have to follow these laws. The government needs to make rules for everyone in form of law. Because by doing so, people can obey rule and thus the nation as well as the whole leads a secure life. Okay. See, government is making rule in form of a law just for us. Okay. Why so? By which if we will follow the rules, if we follow the law, obviously we will be safe and secure and we will live a very secure life. Okay. Over there will be no adjustment for any other thing. We will be very happy. We will be very healthy and prosperous, and we will develop more and more if we will follow the rules and regulations. Okay, we will not be bounded for any of the punishment. This all makes the government to make laws, okay, or make rules in form of laws, by which they can enforce people, they can pressurize people that yes, you have to follow this thing to maintain peace and harmony and a good secure life inside the nation or within the nation. If you will not do so, you will be responsible for punishment. Why so? Because the government wants, and the government motto is to keep or to provide a secure, healthy, wealthy life to every citizen of its country. Now, we have discussed about the different levels of the government. Now, I am going to discuss with you all with the different types of government that we exist in this world. Okay, there are several types of government that exist in this world, and among them the famous for example we can say the democracy, the monarchy, the aristocracy, okay, monarchy system. They all are the different levels of the government which are being followed. Now let's find out what are the different types of government found in this world. First one, the monarchy. A monarchy has a king, a queen, emperor, empress. Okay, the ruling position can be passed to the ruler's heir. Now here, for example, the king is here. I just give you example for Ayodhya. Okay, King Dashrath. King Dashrath was a king of Ayodhya, and after that Lord Ram came or ruled Ayodhya. Okay, why so? Because he was the son of King Dashrath. Okay, same like here, the ruling position can be passed on, rulings here passed on to their children. Okay. Now, in some traditional monarchies, the monarch has absolute power. Okay, there are some monarchy system where they have the absolute power. It means overall power lies within the people. The constitutional monarchy like UK and Australia also have a democratic government that limits the monarch control. Now here, understand the two difference. Some traditional monarchies, over there all the powers lie within the king, okay, and its subordinate staff, the court members. Now monarchy, constitutional monarchy. Now here in the constitutional monarchy, the king is the supremo. Okay, he is the overall, the greatest part. But here the powers of the king and the court members are being controlled by the people also. It means people also take care of what is going on or indulge or involved in the functions of the government. The king cannot take the decision individually of its own. It has to be taken by the agreement or by after suggesting or after discussing with the members of the Constituent Assembly or with the people or the general people of his own kingdom. Now the second is aristocracy. It is a form of government in which few elite citizens rule. Now elite citizen means higher class people. Okay, they are very rich. Okay, they used to live their nation. Okay, in earlier times it is usually rich landowners that ruled. However, in modern times the rulers are usually from the highest social class. Okay, passed to rule in inherit or passed on with the parents to their children. Same like in monarchy, as the king expired, it used to pass to their children. Here also in aristocracy, it used to pass to their children, or they can transfer to any other person of the same caste. Okay, so same background. So aristocracy is usually being ruled by the rich class people or the very highly rich people of a particular individual state or the kingdom. Now the next form is dictatorship. Dictatorship. Now in this what is happening? This is a country ruled by a single leader, often a strong individual who seizes power and rules along. Okay, the leader has not been elected and may use to force to keep control. Now here usually what is happening in dictatorship, I explain you. Any army official who is taking care of his army, okay, and he is the most powerful person, okay, because of his army, and what he does, he governs the nation or he controls the authority of governing the nation by power with the help of weapons. That is said to be the dictatorship. For example, Saddam Hussein, okay, Saddam Hussein, Hitler, okay, and even Pervez Musharraf. They all were the people or examples of dictatorship. Okay, Pakistan was said to be a dictatorship of government. Why? Because of Pervez Musharraf. What he did with his help of his army and his force, he enforced people, who pressurized people to follow the policies whatever he used to make. That is said to be the dictatorship. So in dictatorship, there is a country who is ruled by a single leader and who usually control the people with the help of his army. Now, the next form of the government is anarchy. And in the anarchy, there is no government, there is no person to control. Over there, usually what happens, people used to fight like, cats and the dog fights we have, okay, like the Chuckleys they used to pretend. And usually, this can happen after a civil war, okay, in any country where the government has been destroyed and the rival groups are fighting to take its place. Anarchy is type of of a government where you can say there is no government there is a no like of government. Okay, after the civil wars, if the individual religions or the groups are having any fight, they used to conquer each other, they used to overcome each other, overlap each other. So over there anarchy type of a government comes, but usually anarchy type of government occurs very rarely in the world. Next is republic. A republic is a country that has no monarch. Okay, republic country is a country which has no monarch. Monarch means over here where they have no ruling authority. Fine. Over there, the citizens elect their representative, select their head. The citizens elect whom they want to become the owner of the country, who want that they should represent them. Okay, they used to elect their own representatives. The head of the country in such type of government is the president. Okay, the head of the country is usually an elected president. So over here, the president rules the country. Okay, the president rules the country, or he is said to be the head of the state. So a republic is a country which has no monarch. Okay, the citizens elect whom they want to represent them, and usually the president is said to be the head of the country. Next, let's come to the democracy. In a democracy, the government is elected by the people. Everyone who is eligible to vote has a chance to have say there, to say who runs the country. Okay, whomever they want, they can give their vote and they can make the help to become their representatives. A democracy is determined either directly or through selected or elected representatives. Now see, understand the term democracy. In a democracy, the whole government is being elected by the people. Whomever they want, they can make their representatives and they can elect. Now in a democracy, usually there are two types. See, for example, I can say when we are giving vote, India is a democratic country, you all know that. India is a democratic country. Okay, now here in the democracy, when we are giving vote for the central government, okay, electing a president or the members of the parliament, obviously we give vote. Okay, but what happens when we are electing our president? Over there, we are not giving directly the vote, but the representatives whom we have elected in the central government and state governments and other local bodies, over there, these people give and elect vote and choose a president. Okay, so that is why it is said that democracy is determined either directly or through elected representatives. So democracy is a form of a government which is being elected by the people, and whoever is eligible to vote, it means whoever follow the policies of the universal adult franchise, it means above the age of 18, they are liable to vote and they can elect their own representatives whomever they want. A democracy means ruled by the people. The name is used for different forms of government where the people can take part in the decisions that affect the way their community is run. The people elect their leaders. These leaders take the decision about laws. This is commonly called representative democracy. So India is having a representative democracy type of government, okay, where we elect our own representative, not to the state level, not to the central level or the national level, but to the lower level also we used to take part. Okay. See, for the state government, we elect our chief minister, we elect our own MLAs and the MPs, okay, MLCs. These all are being elected by us only. We, the individual citizen of the country of India, elect our own representatives. So that is why we follow the policy of representative democracy. So India is having a representative democracy type of government. Okay, India is a republic government having a republic state also. Why? Because the head of the state or the head of the country is the president. Prime Minister is not the head of the government, is only the head of the government. He is not the head of the country. The head of the country is only the president. That is why India is a republic country also, where the president is the head of the country. Now India is a representative democratic government also. Okay, it has a democratic government also. Why so? Because we the people of India elect our own representatives who make laws and make government for us, by which we can live easily, happily and have a secure life within our own country. Now if somebody asks you that what are the characteristic feature of a democratic government, what you can say? You simply say this thing: a democracy is a form of government where the people's supreme power is vested in the people. It means all the supreme power rests in the people. If we had made Mr. Narendra Modi as a Prime Minister of India, we can remove him also if we find that he is not functioning or he is not taking care of the citizen properly. We can remove him. If Mr. Gehlot, who is the Chief Minister of Rajasthan, if he is not working or taking care of the citizens properly, we can remove that type of government also. We can make another person on his position. So all the supreme power lies or rests in the people and exercised directly by them. Okay, they can be elected agents from the free electoral system. Again, we will see, if we want to replace Mr. Gehlot, what we will do? We will ask that we want him to be removed and we will go for a new elections. Okay, new electoral system we will follow, and over there again the new elections will be done, and in that we can elect our own new representatives. So everything and every procedure, policies or choosing the representatives is being done especially by the electoral system. Okay, electoral system means the voting system. The voting system in which every individual citizen of the country is involved to give the vote and elect their own representatives. Now understand the meaning of right to vote. Suffrage. Suffrage means political franchise, or simply franchise is to right to vote in public and political elections. In some languages and occasionally in English, the right to vote is called active suffrage as distinct from the passive suffrage. Okay, passive suffrage is very different. It means indirect form of voting. Over here it is called a direct voting. Okay, now Article 326 of the Constitution provides that the elections of the House of the people, okay, elections which are being done to the House of people, it means Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha, okay, there are two houses of the parliament of every state, and to the legislative assembly, it means the MLAs of every state shall be on the basis of adult suffrage. Adult suffrage over here means, see, suffrage over there means that every person can go and vote. Okay, a person, a newly born baby, has a responsibility. He, as he is being the citizen, okay, he or she can go and vote. But according to the Article 326 of our own Indian Constitution, it has been said that every person can go and give vote only if they comes under the adult franchise, okay, adult suffrage, okay, where the person should not be less than 21 years of age. 21 years of age. This is the age is being decided by the government. Now it is coming, it has come and reduced to 18 years now, but previously it was 21. Okay, when it has been said that the person who comes across the age of 18 or 21, the people are liable to give vote and elect their own representative. Before that, the person is not allowed to give any sort of voting for electing representative. Why so? Because at the age of 21, obviously the minds become mature and your analysis power develops, okay, and over there you can analyze whether this person will be suitable for a country or not. And so that is why, according to Article 326 of our Constitution, it has been said that every person has to follow the adult suffrage. It means after the age of 21, the person will be liable to vote and elect their own representatives. Now, understand the meaning of universal adult franchise. In the modern times, universal adult franchise is the norm in the most of the countries. Usually in mostly the countries, because nowadays every country is a democratic country, okay, so they are following the universal adult franchise. Universal adult franchise means that all the adult citizens of the country have the right to vote. It means above the age of 18 or 21, they are be liable to give vote and elect their own representatives. This means that poor and rich, men and women, Hindu or Muslims or Christians or Sikhs or Buddhists, everyone has equal voting right. Yes. Now here, what does it mean? It means that you cannot distinguish or discriminate among the sex, gender, caste, color, creed or any other aspect. If the person is a human being, if the person is living, if the person is at the age of 21 or above the age of 18, the person is liable to vote, or he and she can give the vote to elect their own representative. No one can bound them, no one can stop them of giving vote, and if they do so, they will be liable for punishment. So here it has been said that the universal adult franchise doesn't matter for the status, doesn't matter for the caste, color, creed, okay, the society categories, the social categories. There should be no discrimination among the religions and the caste. Okay, so every person has a right to vote. Vote of each person carries equal weight. Okay, now see, every individual, there are 4 people, Mr. Ram, okay, Mr. Singh, who is a Punjabi, who is a Sikh, okay, Mr. D'Souza, and there is one more person who is monk. Okay, now these 4 are from different religion, the Buddhist religion, the Christian, okay, the Sikh, and over here Mr. Sheikh, who is a Muslim. Now every individual who is going to give the vote is having the equal vote category. It means the equal vote. Fine. Over here, this Hindu Muslim Mr. Ram who is giving the vote of Mr. Ram will be equal to vote of Mr. Sheikh. Okay. So there is no difference between the individuals regarding or irrespective to their religion, caste, color, creed or anything else. So there is no discrimination on the weight of the vote. Every vote counts and every vote is important. In most of the countries, universal adult franchise could become a reality only after many years of struggle. Yes, that's the fact. After a long struggle, many countries have gone through or achieved this right of voting, okay, where not on the basis of discrimination, not on the basis of any other aspect, the people are free to give their vote. That is what universal adult franchise stands for. You know who this person is? This person is our Bharat Ratna Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, the father of our Indian Constitution. And in this, he simply said one thing: one man, one vote, and one vote, one value. Yes, every value, it means every individual citizen of the country is important. And whoever is liable for giving vote, so every man will give one vote, not 2 votes, only 1 vote. And every 1 vote will have a same value. Okay, one value. It means very important. So, in this, overall, we came to know that the universal enfranchisement is a type of a voting rights where every man, apart from discriminations and all, no one is or everyone is liable to give vote. Doesn't matter from what custom, color, creed, religion he belongs. Okay, and the vote of every individual counts over here, and every individual vote is having the same value as others are having. So students, I hope what is the government and what are the types of the government and the levels of the government, this all you have understood very nicely. So it's an humble request to you all to please read the chapter properly. Okay, go to this presentation again and again if you are unable to understand anything. Okay, thank you for watching this video. Have a great day ahead.